This is Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here on CCW TV, the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. We are now at the part that we call Last Rants, and Last Rants is when Jose and I talk about things that might have bothered us in the past, or heck, sometimes Last Rants means we can even start with a rave. Now, I said right off the beginning of these segments that we were actually going to talk about Bendis again. Because the reality is that you guys love it when we talk about Brian Bendis. One of our reviews, the Avengers review, got posted on the Jinx World message boards. And a whole bunch of folks on Jinx World saw it. Some folks commented on it, and I was surprised. I gotta say, I was surprised. I was expecting us to be drawn and quartered, vilified even. I was expecting the Jinx World message folks to rain down upon us with the fury of 1,000 suns. And wouldn't you know that there were actually a couple people on there who agreed with us, who made some very valid points about our criticisms. And I respect that. I respect that. If someone takes issue with the criticism of ours, you are always welcome to express it and explain, what it is. I don't know if you're going to have much of a problem with us now, though. Because this past week, I was rendered a shock that I was not expecting.
And it's just funny because at the beginning of that video, before we reviewed Avengers #2, you had talked about wanting the old Brian Michael Bendis back. In that very video.
It seems like the gods of comics are listening to us. We got our editorial notes back. Our nerd continuity nitpicks are being addressed. And hallelujah, praise Jeebus. The classic Bendis is back with Scarlet #1, his entry into the Icon line. And
second entry into the Icon line.
Well, it's his second entry into the Icon line, because he already does powers under the Icon line. But this is Bendis and Maleev, the team that I actually loved on Daredevil. They are back together on Scarlet. Now.
Oh, they were awesome. You didn't love them on Spider-Woman together?
Oh, that's right. And I actually liked Spider-Woman to a degree, although I didn't read past the first issue. Remember?
It was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I know you didn't like it. I actually kind of enjoyed it. So seeing these guys together on an independent book was, what did I say? I want my old Brian Bendis back. And with Scarlet, I got it. I got the Brian Bendis that I just fell in love with. Now, here's the thing. Now, I'm going to tell you. Bendis and Maleev have been working on this for a very long time. He says it in the afterword. Ever since Daredevil, they've been working on this. This feels like very, again, classic Bendis. We're talking Jinx, Torso, Goldfish Bendis. That's what this feels like. Please, don't let this be like a really old script.
I know, right?
That, he's been sitting on for a while, it's finally getting produced, and then when he starts doing stuff more current, it's going to feel like...
Well, see, I have a feeling that when it gets to the 4th issue, that's going to be the current, and then she's going to get her head ripped off and she's going to die. And that's going to be the end of the series.
But anyway, Scarlet is, again, an independent book, tells a story of a young woman who is referred to as Scarlet, and she's, for lack of a better term, kind of a vigilante. Some interesting things that Bendis does with this book is the story is told through her internal monologue, but she's doing the Ferris Bueller. She talks to the reader. More Ferris Bueller than She-Hulk, because a lot of folks were talking about how She-Hulk broke the fourth wall. Mm-hmm. This felt more like Ferris Bueller than She-Hulk to me.
And I do like the changing of the word balloons. So when she's talking in the story, right, when she's talking to somebody, and then when she's talking to you,
right,
it looks like interior monologue boxes.
Like captions, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Captions, except it's in word
balloon. So that's a clever use of the lettering device.
And to me, that was the most striking thing right away. And that was in the first page. It's like, all right, I kind of like this already.
Yeah, and the thing that another reason why
it doesn't take a lot to get me on Bendis' side. It's like those little creative touches. I was like, I kind of like this, you know.
See, and here's the thing, and we've talked in the past. We've kind of complained in the past about how Bendis tries to be very clever with his dialogue.
Yeah. That's why, again, I didn't, you know, when you said that, I didn't even think about that until you said that this might be an old script. And now you really have me fucking scared. I did not think that for a second. Because I did read the afterward, and I did see that this was, you know, has been hibernating, it's been a long time coming. But I didn't think for one time that this could be like a 7-year-old script.
So, well, who knows? Because the dialogue in this is clever dialogue, that Tarantino-esque dialogue, but it moves the story along. It really moves things along.
It's clever dialogue, and it's none of the dialogue that I hate with Bendis, where, like, you know, Spider-Man comes in, he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, oh, Spider-Man, didn't you hear time's broken? What? Time's broken? Time's broken. Time's broken. Time's broken. You know, then Wolverine comes in and he's like, hey guys, you got some pizza. You guys want some pizza? You got pizza? What kind of pizza? Sausage pizza. Can I have some pizza? You want some pizza? Time's broken! And that's all it is.
I tell you that if you think we're joking, that's what happened in the last 5 pages of Avengers #2.
Yeah,
so almost verbatim.
Yeah, but none of that bullshit's in here. None of that Bendis bullshit is in here. All that stuff that I hate in New Avengers, the stupid quippy dialogue, the stupid like jokes that aren't funny, none of that is in here.
In here you have Bendis putting this character of Scarlet front and center. She is talking to you, the reader. Comes across as very three-dimensional. You know, yeah, don't get me wrong. There are little pauses, there are quips, there's that stuff that we have come to take, you know in Bendis's work. But again, it doesn't feel forced. It feels like it's
very natural.
Yes, the dialogue is there to really illuminate the character and get us to know her better. So this has to be one of the most enjoyable reads that I've had from a Bendis book in a while. And don't get me, I mean, I've read Powers, and I've really been let down by Powers lately too. I dropped it. I dropped Powers. So much so, I mean, I was really concerned about this, and some of you, even before this video post, you asked us on the blog, the question was on the blog, what did we think about Scarlet? I said, it was Return of Classic Bendis. One of you asked, is it worth buying? I said, guess what? Jose and I both bought this book. We both bought this book. Why? Because it's a good book. This is the kind of work we want to see Brian Bendis do. This is the kind of work that we love Brian Bendis doing. We want to support this work. So I'm speaking with my money.
We would be pretty damn big hypocrites if we did not buy the book.
Yeah.
After complaining, like, we want the old Brian Bendis back. Like, if we got it, like, hey, and then not buy it. No, we're not going to do that.
No.
This book was worth the money to me.
And right here, this whole bit.
And this is a book I'm going to support.
Yeah. As
long as it stays at this spot.
I was going to say, because he does this really clever bit where she tells her story, and through a series of panels, her life story, tells her entire life story in like 3 pages, and again, I'm like, wow, this is really, really so spot on. I am so getting this character right now, using these storytelling devices that he does. I was really enjoying it. And then here's the other thing, too. The book is $3.95. All right, and the back of the book has.
Yeah, if there's one major complaint that I have.
If there's a major complaint, it's the bit where, and now Bendis has always done this in his books, where he reprints interviews that he's done on websites, and he puts some script and stuff back there. You know what? Just like with Jimmy,
he talks up all,
he
like,
talks up all his
other
own
books
stuff.
that he's doing.
But I'm looking at this. I am not looking at this as Brian Bendis, the #1 selling writer in comics who does Avengers and New Avengers. I'm looking at this book as Brian Bendis. You know, again, independent comic book writer. This is a personal project of his. I'm going to give him that. And this is really just part of the whole Brian Bendis package. He's always done this for years and years in his books. So I'm not going to hold that against him. So, you know, and I know he's been trying to push more of that stuff into the Avengers books too. I don't think, because I don't let him be that self-promoting in the Avengers books.
Well, I mean, this is his own book, and a lot of people are, some people, I shouldn't say a lot, some people were like, well, Mark Miller only charges $2.99 for his icon book. Here Bendis is charging $3.95. Now, I think there were like 27 or 29 pages of art, so there was a little bit more art, which is fine.
And the thing that has to be said about the icon books and the independent stuff, it isn't like Marvel where they get paid up front for it. This is their own personal line. This is like they're doing it on spec. They're throwing it out there. Marvel is publishing it for them, but they don't make any money from it unless it sells.
Right, but on top of that, though, I think that actually it's $3.95. It's not $3.95.
Not
$3.95. But I think the reason why this may be $3.95 and not $3.50, like Powers was, is that Brian Bendis knows that people will pay $3.99 for all of his books. That's what the market has said. That's what he, all of his top books, all of his books are $3.99. So I think that's part of it. He knows that he can do it. So
yeah. I'll give him that, though. I'll give him that. For something like this, I mean, the reality now is you got to pay for quality, and this is a quality I've been asking for.
Okay, so here is maybe the rant part. If this is not an old script, if this is new, or maybe if it's based on an old script and he touched it up and he made it actually better.
Why is he writing more like this?
Where has this stuff been for years?
Because
why are we getting force-fed that garbage in all of his other books when obviously he's capable of doing it? This book shows that the old Bendis is still in there and he's capable of writing a solid book from cover to cover.
We've seen this Bendis before, though, in the mainstream stuff. The Dark Avengers Annual. We saw this Bendis in the Dark Avengers Annual. We saw this Bendis in the Free Comic Book Day one-shot.
Right.
We've seen that Bendis there. So my question is this. Is this that Bendis now, is he writing this for himself?
Yeah.
And he's writing Avengers for the masses? Because if that's what the case is, wow, I wish he'd write Avengers for himself.
Yeah.
Because I know we're probably in the minority here. The majority of folks read Bendis' stuff and they really enjoy it. And if anything, the nitpicks are, the most you get are those nitpicks that when people bring them up, you get shouted down about it. Like, you should know better. I love Bendis. Again, the cult of personality. People, I go back to the Jinx boards. You read the Jinx boards, and if somebody tries to criticize Bendis, you'll have a lot of other folks shout that person down and yell at them. It's not the civil discussion about, I can see where you're coming from. This is probably what's happening here and here. No, some people take it really personally if you attack Brian Bendis. Because if you attack Brian Bendis, you are attacking them. You're attacking their favorite writer, and you can't do that. So, it would be nice to see more of this Bendis, the Bendis that writes the characters from his point of view. He writes the characters the way he recognizes them, the way he would love to see them portrayed, like Scarlet, to see that happen in the Avengers books.
And I think we need to bring up the fact, because we have ad nauseum talked about this with Bendis, is that this is a female-centric comic book. And at no point, this is probably since Jinx, maybe? Or Jessica Jones and Alias, the strongest female character that he's written in this one issue.
Yeah.
None of the other, bullshit that we complain about of how he treats women in all his other comics, none of that is in here at all. Again, that's another reason why I liked it, because none of that garbage is in there. So you take away the bad dialogue, the repetition, the shortcuts, the not funny jokes, you take away the misogyny and all the other bullshit that comes with all that stuff that makes me just hate it. This book is none of that.
Well, again, let me, go back to my previous assertion, and again, this is all supposition on my part. That writing he is writing for the audience he's writing to. Let's see what the sales on Scarlet are, though. Let's see if the fanboys...
If that supposition, if that were true, which we're not saying, but if that were true, if I were one of those fanboys who he was writing to, I might be a little bit offended if that's what he thinks that I want. But
it's selling.
That is true. That's true. I just contradicted myself.
Right. Because
they won't know any better because they're ignorant. So,
I'm just saying, he's writing to the audience, and he's writing what he knows would sell. The Dark Avengers, the biggest issue the biggest problem we had with Dark Avengers, Sentry ripping off Morgana Le Fay's head, the holy shit moment. How many fanboys went, "Oh my God, that's disgusting," and how many went, "Cool"?
Right.
Okay. The majority said that was a holy shit, oh cool moment. And then they had all the different rationalizations about it. Oh, well, it didn't really kill her anyway. Oh, she was an evil badass. Oh, this is what should happen here. Blah, 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 right? So, with that, Bendis learns this is what the audience wants.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's a scene where you're right, you go, I don't know, I might be pushing it here. I don't know how people are going to take that. And when you have everyone going, oh my God, that is so cool, then what happens after that? You got heads ripped off left and right all the time.
Well, getting back to what you were saying before I interrupted you about how those fans are going to take this book, I am actually very interested.
I sure hope they take to it, because this is a really good book.
But this feels so much different.
It does. It feels really different.
Everything else that he's doing.
And I'm wondering why, and it's back to the issue of Spider-Woman, that lasted 7 issues.
Yeah.
Why did it only last 7 issues?
Well, he'll tell you because he said that's how long we wanted it to last.
Wanted it to last, and Maleev probably had his...
Well,
I'm just saying...
Doing this. Maybe. Why didn't they just continue that?
Yeah. Because that's your cash cow.
Because the sales were pretty low on that. They were not at all what they accepted. And I think you can get away with sales like that on a creator-owned book.
On a creator-owned book.
A lot easier than on a high-profile Spider-Woman book with Bendis and Maleev on it together. If it's only selling like 30,000 copies, that's pretty bad for a Marvel Universe book. But if you sell 30,000 copies of an independent book, that's actually pretty good.
Okay. Well, I don't know. This is something that I'm looking forward to reading now every month. Or every other month, or however it comes out. I am interested in this character. I want to see what happens next with this character. This is a narrative that I'm drawn into. Brian, please, 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 don't let me down here. You have restored my faith.
We'll see how often this comes out too. Hopefully it'll be hopefully every 6 weeks they'll be able to make it, if not every month. But we will definitely come back and talk whenever a second issue comes out. We're going to talk about the second issue and see if it's on par with this issue.
Yeah. I made a funny joke about this. I tweeted this actually to Bendis and CB Cebulski that when you see the cover and it says Scarlet, I go, "Oh, is this a new G.I. Joe book?" Because she looks like Scarlet from G.I. Joe. Huh?
She's got short hair though.
But still, it could have been like,
Yeah, I get it, but it just wasn't that funny.
Beyond that. Hey, good book. Where have you been, Brian Bendis? Where have you gone? Well, we found you. Stick around for a while. We'd appreciate that.
We would appreciate that, actually.
So post this sucker on the Bendis boards, the Jinx World boards, and tell us what you think. Because, we are...
It's not controversial enough.
I know it's not controversial enough. Well, guess what?
And the funny thing is that if you post it on there, it's not going to be controversial like the Avengers. But when we post this on our boards, it's going to be controversial.
Oh yeah, people are going to be people on our boards are going to be pissed. Because I said that we both liked it, and they were like, "Oh my God, really?" CCW blog, we take our shots there too. Yeah. And just so you know, that's where you're going to want to hang out for the next couple of weeks because we will be on hiatus while I am away at the San Diego Comic-Con. So while the videos won't be posting for a little while, you can hop on over to the boards where we will still have discussion, open threads, D-Mars Sunday Funnies. I've been posting more of D-Mars work because he's been sending me more sketches and cool stuff. So that'll be going up. Questions, videos, all that kind of stuff. Come and check it out on the CW TV blog. Anything else?
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, we hope we see you around. Hey, if you see me in San Diego, come on by, say hi, grab me, say hello, tell me you're a fan of the show or that you think we're crazy. Maybe, who knows, maybe I'll run into Brian Bendis and I'll say, hey, guess what? We love your book. I can say that.
That's true, you wouldn't be kissing his ass.
I wouldn't be lying. Until the next time, this has been Elliot Serrano and Jose Melendez coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.